Hey y'all, hey, it is Kira from Budget and Heal, where I help women to get out of debt and out of financial survival mode. In case you are new here, I myself paid off $111,722.47 in student loans, credit card, and a personal loan debt. Okay, so I am very familiar with drowning in debt, coming up out of it, and I am now on the other side. So my goal as a coach is to help you to do the same, your version, okay? So I'm going to jump right in, guys. I know that I have been gone for a week or two, but I was not feeling good. I promise you, I even took off from work, and I never take off from work. But I feel a whole lot better now, and I'm ready to connect and show you guys how I manage my money after debt, after paying off debt. So this is my paycheck budget that I created for myself and my clients. It's super easy. All you have to do is write in the information. I have a digital version. I have a PDF version you can print out if you're a pen and paper. To be completely honest, I do both because I just like to do both. But my paycheck amount for this pay period, which was January 30th, 2026, was $2,386.06. Now, my paycheck is normally $1,803, right? But the reason why I got the increase is because I paused my 403B. And the reason why I paused my 403B is because I was being charged 1.5% fee, which was ridiculous, right? So I did some research and I found out that my job offers a participant directed program through Vanguard. So I had to take some time because I paused it in December, right? So I've been taking this time to do research. You know, you got to do your due diligence. And I've been looking for some accounts to some stocks, right, to invest in. I have my 5. I'm doing a 60-40 split, 60% stock, 40% bonds. And yeah, I just got to put it into play, and I'll be doing that shortly. So when I do that, my paycheck will go back down, right? Because when you contribute to your retirement accounts that are pre-tax, that reduces your take-home pay. So that's important to keep in mind, okay? So this would be paycheck number 2 for my school nursing job. Praise be to God, right? So in the income section, it says, count your blessings. Each paycheck is a stepping stone toward your goals. So don't forget, we are using our income to fund our dreams. You are using your current income to fund your dreams, whether that dream is to pay off debt, to save money, to own a home, whatever that is. We're being very intentional with our income to fund those dreams, okay? So that was for my school nurse. That was for my school nurse paycheck. I also received a stipend for $212 from my school nurse job. I am a co-advisor for a girls club. For the girls club, we do some really cool stuff. I wish I could show you guys, but we're not allowed to film in school, so I can't show you. But even Monday, like, we're having a fundraiser. They're selling lip gloss. We got like chocolate covered pretzels or sprinkles, like all types of stuff. And we meet every Monday. And it's super cool. And I teach them this stuff too, just on a different level. But yeah. All right. So I also made a transfer from my high yield savings account. Right now, we talked about before how it can be challenging from going from having a scarcity mindset of, oh my God, right? Oh my God, I don't want to spend anything. I've been in debt all this time. Now I don't want to spend anything. I'm just saving. To being in a place of spending money intentionally with purpose, right? Based on things that are important to you. So I made a transfer from my high yield savings account for $3,130, and $2,500 of that money. Well, I'll tell you guys later what that went to. And the remaining went to cover bills, right? And the $2,500, you want to stay tuned for that. But that brought my total to $5,728.01. Okay. Now we are going to the savings sections. I'm grateful for every section on this paycheck budget, but my favorite section is the savings section. So my stress-free sinking fund gets $100 for this pay period. Very important. I do have a fully funded emergency fund, but I continuously contribute money to that emergency fund because, well, stress-free sinking fund, which some people call an emergency fund. I continually add money to that because you just never know, and you always want to be proactive. You don't want to be reactive, right? So you just want to add, as long as you can add money to it, even if it's fully funded, add it. It doesn't matter the number, just add it. Add money to it, okay? My investment sinking fund gets $400 this pay period. My high yield sinking account. Okay. Remember, I just told you guys that this paycheck was $2,386.06, but I normally get $1,803. With the difference, instead of just blowing it, I put that money in a high yield savings account so that it can earn me interest. Okay? So I can earn interest on that money. Okay? So I'm not just blowing it. Oh, I got extra money. Like, nah, I am very intentional and purposeful with it. In fact, I have this Save Your First 1K savings challenge going on, and I'm using money from my high yield savings account, the interest that I earn. I'm using that to fund that Save Your First 1K challenge. To be completely transparent, I do have a substantial amount in my emergency fund, but when I'm having a challenge, I'm not going to just have the challenge. I'm going to do the challenge with my community, right? So I'm saving $1,000 as well, and I'm using money from my high yield savings account to do that, right? So it's always a good idea to have a high yield savings account if you are able, okay? It just gives you way more interest than a traditional savings account, all right? And I'll leave a link in the description for a high yield savings account referral code. All right, you can earn money, I'll earn money, you know. All right, my birthday. I told you guys I was taking it up from, I think it was like $65 a month I was saving. I took it up to $100 per month, actually. And to be completely honest, normally what I get for my birthday, you wouldn't even believe it. So I'm not even going to ask you to guess. I normally do something like a car wash. I probably get like a car wash. I don't do much. I don't know. It's just how I'm programmed. I do not do much, but any event I want to do it, I like to know I have the funds to do something if I wanted, whether I wanted to take a trip really quick or if I wanted to do whatever. I know I have the money to do it, right? And that optionality is so important. So vacation, I told you guys I was increasing that. It used to be $70. Effective 2026, now it's $100, right? So that brings my total savings for this pay period to $1,282.66. That is how much I'm saving. That's how much I save for that pay period. My recurring bills, it says pay your bills on time. Punctual payments pave the path to peace. It also increases your credit scores, right? Because we know that the highest percentage, the largest percentage of your credit scores, which is, I believe, 35%, is based on what? It's based on what? Payment history, right? It's based on your payment history. So that's super important, okay? To pay those bills on time. All right, so rent, I budgeted $694.82, but I actually paid $1,340.42. Now, I normally pay more. I normally pay $13.89 and some change, but I got a credit on my account because they're holding, you know how they hold your deposit into a high yield savings account? Right? They hold your deposit into a high yield savings account, and the interest that you earn on it, they're supposed to give it to you annually. So that's super important. Okay. And that's how I was able to pay a little bit less, about $49 less than I normally do. Okay. Gas, I budgeted for $30, but I paid $25.08. Laundry, I didn't even plan on doing laundry, but I did laundry. That was $10, right? Easy Pass, $10. Food, I budgeted $165, but I actually spent $224.82. And I wanted to share something with you guys. Let me grab my phone. I wanted to share something with you guys. One of the things I observed, and this is why it's super important to, even after your budget, it's important to go back to review your previous budgets, okay? So for example, my budget I went back to review October, November, and December's food budget, okay? And you want to do this for any category that you feel like you're consistently going over budget in, okay? I looked at October, November, and December budget. What I did was I totaled, did I delete it? Because I'm quick to delete something out of here. I'm telling you. When I say I will delete it, I will delete it. I think I did delete it. But nonetheless, what I did was I looked at how much I actually spent on my food budget. The real number, not what I budgeted for, what I actually spent. I looked at October, November, and December. I added all three of those up. And then I divided it by 3 to give me an average, right, of how much I'm spending every month. And that it came out to like $330 something. So I said, okay, yeah, I would like to aim for it to be lower, but we got to be realistic when we're dealing with our budget. So I budgeted $330 and I already spent $224.82. And it is February the 8th. Right? But I have a substantial amount of food, so I should be able to stretch this out. But that's just one of the ways you can figure out like your real true cost of a particular category that you're overspending in. You want to look at the prior 3 months, right? How much did you actually spend on that? The prior 3 months, you could go 3 months, 6 months, whatever. And then, right, you're going to divide that. You're going to add those 3 numbers up, divide it by 3, and that should give you an idea of how much you're spending. And that's what you go from there, okay? So, church offering, $50, okay? Now, as we go to our flexible spending, right? Some people call it variable spending, right? It says spend wisely. Each decision you make today shapes your financial freedom tomorrow. So, I utilized, if you guys look, remember the stipend I just mentioned? The $212 stipend that I got from my job? What I did was I used money from there, right? Because it comes in a separate check. I used money from there to pay for parking, right? I'm actually going on a trip and I use that money to pay for parking. You see how I'm being intentional with the money I'm spending? I'm making the money work for me as much as possible, okay? And then, remember I also said I transferred money from my high yield savings account, right, to my checking account. And the reason why I did that is because I have to wire some money, $2,500 to be exact, okay, for an investment that I am working on, okay? Actually, me and my husband are working on. It's not just me. It's an investment we are working on, and that's what the money is for. Initially, the sinking fund that I transferred the money from the high yield sinking account, initially that sinking account was to buy a house, right? And when the price of houses went crazy, like I was just like, okay, let me take a step back. Let me talk to God. Let me see if there's another way we can figure something else out. And we did. So now we're working on that. And I will bring you guys along on a journey with us, but I don't want to talk about it right now. So stay tuned, okay? So that was the wire for that. Now, when it comes to debt, remember, I was on a credit card holiday for maybe a month, maybe 2. I utilized a credit card for $71 and I owe $71.20. It is very important to make sure, like when we're using credit cards, I know you guys have heard this a million times, but it's so true. it's very important to make sure that you try to keep those amounts as small as possible, something that you can pay very easily, okay? Now, it says in the debt payment section, clear your debts, clear your mind. Freedom starts with accountability, okay? Also, guys, when you are using a credit card, let's say, for instance, you're putting your groceries on your credit card. Make sure you're not double counting, right? Make sure you're not double counting groceries and credit card. You want to make sure you keep count of what's what, okay? That's very important on your journey. Oh, I didn't tell you guys, for the flexible spending, my total is $2,621.42. Okay, I didn't tell you guys, my bad. So if we come down directly underneath the flexible spending, it says take control of your finances. You got this. So this is the budget summary. This is what tells you your money story. Essentially, this is what tells you what went where, how much you have left, right? And you're able to take a look at this and make a decision based on your numbers, okay? Now, keep in mind that this paycheck budget should be done, not done twice. You'll be in contact with this paycheck budget twice, because the first time you do it, you're only putting in the numbers that you budgeted for, okay? So, for example, where it says budget in each category, you'll put the number that you're thinking you'll pay for it, right? But then once you get paid, once that direct deposit hits, then you'll put the actual amount that you paid for it on your paycheck budget, okay? Very important. So, now it says that the total amount that I spent was $5,635.60. It says that the total amount that I spent was $5,635.06, okay? I have $92.41 left, and my next money date is next week, February the 13th, 2026. Now, one of the things I wanted to go over really quickly with you guys, when you're first starting out on your budget, or you're years in doing a budget, inevitably things come up. So if you find yourself having to constantly pivot and adjust your budget, it's a part of the process. Don't get frustrated, okay? It is a part of the process. Allow yourself to some grace, okay? So that you're able to say, you know what? That girl said this is a part of the process. Let me just put it down for right now. I'll revisit it later, right? When I feel like I'm more focused, okay? It is a part of the process. Prices are going up, right? Things are just happening that are out of some of our control, okay? But you can control doing your budget, okay? You can control knowing your numbers. That is within your control, okay? So I do not want to keep you guys. I hope I have been helpful to you guys. I pray that you have an amazing week ahead, and I look forward to seeing you guys in our next paycheck budget video. All right, later.